Hey guys, Buildzoid here with a update video about the going ons you know, of what I'm doing, and uh, I fucked up. And it's not like it was my stupid mod idea. It wasn't my, you know, anything. It wasn't really like the fuck up isn't related to any of the extreme stuff I do, which just makes it that much more annoying. It looks like I've managed to damage the interposer on what is quite possibly my best Fury X. I have another Fury X that's pretty good, but obviously this basically means I'm not going to be able to run three-way. No way, I can't benchmark three-way any longer. So, that really, really sucks. I want three-way Fire Strike was like a big, big goal for me. Like it was a huge deal. And the worst part of it all is it's not anything I did with a soldering pen. I mean, I'm gonna still try a few things to the card because I had this same issue with a 290 once when I got Cool Laboratory Liquid Ultra under the GPU core. So I basically I didn't spill the paste. It's basically when you wipe it off with alcohol, it congeals, right? It solidifies, and I had those little Cool Laboratory Liquid congealed particles just like get under the GPU core, and basically the GPU would just artifact, but that GPU still ran mostly. Um, and yeah, and that was just screwed. And sorry for the lighting. It's just yeah. So basically, that card, I cleaned it again and again and again, and I cleaned it several times over, and eventually I got that card working again. But I don't think that's the case with the Fury X. I mean, maybe there's a chance that a little stray piece of, solidified solder got under the GPU core, in which case I can fix it, which is great. But it looks like what happened is when I was mounting the stock cooler back on the card, I managed to damage the interposer, which just pisses me off so much. Cause it's like I've done volt mods on the card. I've destroyed that PCB, like destroyed it. That PCB looks awful. The area around the voltage controller, oh my god, it's a freaking nightmare. Because I can't like I'm not really that great at soldering, and I was soldering SMD components, and that just always goes really really well. So yeah, the PCB looks like a freaking nightmare, and yet the PCB seems to be completely fine. And then I go and screw it up with something as simple as mounting the heatsink. And it'd be easy to say, oh, it's AMD's fault for designing a stupid heatsink mounting system, which I still think they did. Like the Fury X stock heatsink to mount, like, oh my god, the amount of pressure you need to put on that bracket to get it into place. Because it's like AMD uses like pressure brackets where you have like if you pull it off on the reference cards you have that little metal cross thing on the back of the card. If you pull that off, right, it'll curve opposite of like the PCB. When you mount it, it's flush, it's flat with the PCB. But when you pull it off, it pops up because that's how they get the mounting pressure that pulls the cooler onto the PCB harder because it levers the cooler into it. But the problem is the backplate on the Fury, well, the back bracket um, on the Fury X's is stiff as hell. Okay, it's so freaking stiff that you need to put so much freaking pressure on the damn thing to get it to mount to the card. And I guess when I was, I must have applied the pressure wrongly or something and broken the interposer or maybe an HBM stack because something in the memory system you know, seems to be broken because the card artifacts all over the place. The voltage sense is also completely screwed on the card, but that's repairable. That's sort of my area of expertise: shitty SMD soldering and voltage controllers. So I can fix that in a jiffy. But But that interposer, that's not repairable. That's like you fix bad interposers by swapping PCB, like swapping the core, which is doable, incidentally. I even know a guy who does it. So, yeah, but it's just not affordable. I mean, I'd have to go out and buy like a R9 Nano, which admittedly I wanted to buy a Nano anyway, but with the RX 480 coming out, that just doesn't make any sense. Um, so maybe there'll be price drops on second-hand Nanos. Maybe you don't want your Nano and you can send it in to me or something. You know, I'll be ever thankful to you. I'm not asking you donate for a new Fury X. No, that's ridiculous. You know, I'm not, I want to help people overclock their stuff. So if I fuck up on something that's my own personal project that you enjoy watching, I'm not asking you to fix my failings. Um, so yeah, but the card is screwed. So I'll just show you what it looks like when you fuck up the interposer. Um, there's still chances that I might get the card working enough to just finish Fire Strike or something, because HWBot doesn't care if the screen is uh, covered in artifacts. But as of right now, the card won't even boot Windows when you install the AMD drivers, and I'm very, very suspicious that has something to do with interposer damage, because if there's some kind of something that checks the state of the interposer, that's going to be throwing errors all over the place. It could also be the IR3567B complaining about the raised core voltage, because the core voltage on the card is currently 20% out of spec. So basically it runs 20% more voltage than it should be running for any given state. So basically once it goes under the 3D load state, it hits like 1.5, 1.4 volts. And that could be triggering some kind of error handling garbage and causing the card to shut down and blue screen, but ultimately, I think it's interposer damage that's making the card unusable as of right now, and that means no Fire Strike. So let's take a look at the card. So I have it set up right here, right? So that's for this multimeter. Let me just get you on the tripod. Whoops. Need to clean up in here. Do ignore the kitchen. It's actually cleaner than it usually is. There we go. It focused. So that's the bad card. That's just core voltage sensing right there. That's the ground for core voltage, and this is the multimeter. So hopefully you can see what's on there. Yeah, so now it's reading 15 millivolts. I'm sorry, this one doesn't. This one's auto ranging, so that's not 1.5 volts or 15 volts or anything like that. That's just 15 millivolts. There we go. Now you can sort of see it. And you don't need to see the whole screen because the artifacts are pretty much screen wide. So let's get this powered on and you'll see what I'm talking about. And yeah, and I can't even let it go into Windows, so I'll just pull it into BIOS and then we'll go into Windows. So yeah, as you can see, this is idle voltage right now because we're just going into the BIOS and you can see this giant colorful stripe. So that's the artifacting. Voltage is out of spec. A Fury X by stock should idle at 0.9. This is idling at 1.1. So that gives you some idea of how badly the voltage sensing circuit is just like messed up. And how do you the fix for this is you bias it against core voltage instead of against ground. So basically, I'll just put a resistor between the pin and core voltage. I'll just pull it to core voltage, and basically that'll make the sense pin see more core voltage, and it'll lower the voltage to compensate because the card thinks it's running idle, but the voltage controller is producing this. So let's take a look at the artifact. So this is the really bad one right here. This is what it looks like in a BIOS. Just this colorful stripe right here. And you get these little flecks all over the place. This is just what it looks like in the BIOS. This is not as bad as it gets once you boot into Windows. So back on the tripod with the camera. Up, and I'll get it into Windows. Exit without saving. Yeah, so this is what it like. That's fine. So now we're on the error recovery screen because obviously, it blue screens as soon as you try to start Windows. and voltage is going to spike any moment now. It's just going to go completely out of whack once it finishes loading. And there we go. Voltage just screwed itself, and yeah, we're at 1.4 now, and card's fucked. Now it's going to blue screen. It's going to stay black for a bit, and then it's going to blue screen with Windows detected a hardware problem and shut down. There we go. That's that. Card's completely screwed, probably. And I can get it to boot safe mode, because if it doesn't load AMD drivers, then it works. So here we go for safe mode. There, see? Now it works. And this is what it looks like in Windows. This is what Windows looks like. So that should be a solid black background for safe mode, but we're getting all this color crap everywhere. And the mouse, there we go. Mouse now alive. And if we set the screen resolution to something larger, it'll still work. But you just get the repeating error pattern everywhere. So, yeah. So basically it looks like the card is over. And I'm a horrible idiot, you know. So yeah, that's that. I mean, I wasn't planning on doing a three-way stream. Well, again, but I was planning to do a one-way and a two-way stream, and then maybe a three-way again once I had all the cards power modded and you know, figured out properly again. But what can I do about this? I can't fix that. I don't have a BGA reworking station. I can't desolder a several thousand pad BGA package GPU. No way. Can't fix this. And this is not something that is like this. Here's the main point I want to sort of make in this video. This is not something that's like a special error that only happens if you like destroy the PCB like I did. You know, it's not like me messing around with the PCB a crap ton and doing a power mod is the cause of this, okay? Because the PCB has no, like the section of the PCB where I'm working, it's basically the possible fail modes are basically VRM catches fire, VRM doesn't put out voltage. Those are basically the two ways it can fail. Or I short it, you know, 12 volts to GPU core and it blows out the card. But it can't do this. You know, this is not like a volt mod failure. This is not, because all the other voltages are in spec. I'm not going to show you that they're all in spec, but they are. I've checked. You know, I have no reason to try. Why would, like, yeah, it's just so fucked. Oh well. So basically, this is something wrong in the, you know, either under the GPU core package or with the interposer. I think it's the interposer, because yeah, like, because this is actually what light damage to the interposer looks like. You know, if you just damage a few connections in the interposer, you'll get this, because the interposer is used to communicate for communications between the GPU and the HBM. And if there's damage on the connections between the GPU and the HBM, well, it won't transfer data properly, and you'll get random colorful lines all over your image. So yeah, it's not like me. This is me and the soldering pen being bad. This is basically just like if you mount the cooler wrong, this is what you'll get. So yeah, that's just perfect. I mean, hopefully it's a loose conductive particle somewhere under the GPU. But if it's interposer damage, the card is fucked, and I need to get I would have to go and buy a new Fiji chip or something, and then that just, you know, that sucks. That sucks really badly. Especially because this PCB is basically like, it's basically there. It has almost all the mods. It's almost perfected, you know, and I put so much time into this card and this. this happens. Well, hopefully I'll manage to snag a nano for cheap somewhere, somehow. And then get somebody to, you know, pull the core off of the nano and throw it on this PCB here, because, you know, that's one way to do it. You can't actually buy a Fury X anymore. There's, well, at least where I go buy them, they're like where I buy my computer parts are completely sold out, and basically Fury X's are becoming a rarity because, as far as I know, they're discontinued. You know, so that's great. That's absolutely freaking perfect. Yeah, well, you don't have to like this video or share or subscribe or whatever. This is just for all of you who watch actually hardcore overclocking and are excited for what I do with the Fury X's. Well, this is what it looks like when it goes wrong. And basically, this is no more Fury X three-way live streams because, well, I don't have a working Fury X for the third card. It also means I'm not going to do four-way. I wanted to get a Nano and do four-way with the Fury X's and the Nano as part of the setup, but what am I going to do about that, you know? Can't do anything, so yeah. Sorry for wasting your time, everyone, and actually, if you're worried about me producing like the RX 480 videos or something like that, don't be. Those are still coming. Um, you know, this is not a major setback for my other projects. It just really hurts. Just really fucking hurts when you put so much time into just modding a PCB and reading up data sheets and this happens to you. You know, it just sucks. It absolutely freaking sucks to lose a great card. Well, yeah, so live streams. Until the RX 480, you can pretty much, there's not going to be a live stream until I get the RX 480 because I'm just like, yeah, I'm just not. Basically, this has put me in a, like, a lot of my Fury X vault modding and stuff, that just takes, you know, guts. It takes a lot of guts to go and take one of these things apart. And I don't want to mess with the one really good, like the one good card I still have, and the other one, which that one's also, that one, the other one lying on the desk over there, that one has a botched vault mod on it as well. And I don't want to touch that card right now because this one just died. So yeah, uh, this sucks. This really sucks. Well, so basically, just look forward to the RX 480 stream. Hopefully by then I'm back in that mood for pushing hardware to the limits. Not in the mood to kill stuff. I'm never in the mood to kill stuff, you know. It's like, well, I mean, I don't. It's like stuff dying basically for me in overclocking. Stuff dying is like, if it fails after I pushed it to where I want it to go. Like if this died in the middle of Firestrike after I already had the top 10 score I wanted, you know, that happens. I already had my I would already have my record and everything would be fine, but freaking interposer died. You know, and I can't deal with that. So yeah, it's like I don't want stuff to die. Nobody wants their hardware to die, you know? It's about getting the scores, it's about pushing it to the limits. It's about seeing how far you can push a piece of hardware. It's not about stuff failing, stuff breaking. No, I mean inevitably it happens that you'll break stuff. But you know, it's like if it breaks on LN2, if it breaks while breaking a record, but when it just breaks like this just sucks. Oh well. Sorry for wasting 19 or wait, going on 20 minutes of your life with moaning about how I broke a Fury X. So, yeah. Sorry. Sorry that I don't have anything awesome for you today. And I'll recover from this and we'll go back to making PCB analysis videos because I'm not in the mood to pick up the soldering pen for a couple days at least. So, yeah. And this is also, it's just made that much worse because the Sabertooth VRM project is also not working and yeah. So, sorry. And see you next time. I'm not giving up. So, there's still videos coming. Don't unsubscribe if you're already subscribed, but yeah, just wanted to let you know I fucked up badly, really badly. And basically, I'm thinking I'm not going to use the stock mounting system for the Fury X any longer. I'm going to figure out something better so that I don't have to fight the GPU core, well, the heatsink back onto the card every time I'm reassembling the card, because I don't want another one of these. I don't want to kill another freaking card. That just sucks so bad. Well, I keep dragging out this video. Well, that's that, and goodbye.